I do believe people tend to think when you get to the NFL, you're a finished product. And it's like Josh Allen was like a wild, out-of-control player. He just needed to be sandpapered. You don't.
The Denver Broncos are not what anyone expected. Nobody really knew what to think about Bo Nix, but ever since being drafted, he has done everything right and even has the media raving over him. Head coach Sean Payton gushed about his handpicked first rounder at nearly every opportunity. In this video, I'm going to be talking everything Broncos, talking about what happened over minicamps the last few weeks, and pretty much everything going on with this team. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 30k subscribers, and with your support, I believe we can get there super fast. Alright, so Bo Nix was definitely one of the more intriguing picks of this year's draft because he brings so much talent to the table, but nobody really knows if he can be a good NFL player or not. But the upside is definitely there, and the Broncos felt like they got a steal, taking him at pick number 12. But honestly, they probably could have traded back and gotten him later in the draft too, because they were the last team that needed a quarterback, so he would have just sat there for a while. But they didn't feel like taking the risk, so they just took him right then and right there. Bo Nix had quite the college career, and he of course ended it off with his best season at Oregon, throwing for over 4,500 yards with an insane 45-3 touchdown interception ratio. And because of this, everyone knew he was league ready. But with QBs like Caleb Williams and Heisman winner Jaden Daniels expected to be selected in front of him, it was hard to say where Bo was supposed to be taken on mock drafts. I think a lot of people's takeaways from the offseason program so far is that the quarterbacks look good. That's always going to be the most important thing when you're trying to take a deep dive into any offseason. Whether it's going to be Jarrett Stidham or Bo Nix off the bat, both guys have looked very solid so far and have done everything the team has asked of them. Even though how they do in camp does not correlate to in-game success, there has never been a player who was horrific in camp but then was a Hall of Fame in-game player. The saying is how you practice is how you play, and as long as the young guys are willing to learn from their mistakes, I think the future is very bright behind center. This is what Bo Nix had to say in his opening press conference.
All it is just talk. I have to, go out there and, continue to do things just for the respect of that comparison. But I think that's what excites me the most. I'm excited to just play football. I'm excited to go out there and compete. I saw the sign out there on the practice field that said Compete Street. I think that's the best thing that you can have going out to a practice field, because that's all you're doing is you're just competing to be the best for yourself.
Anyways, moving on. Now I want to talk about the running backs and receivers Bo Nix will have around him in the backfield, because we all know how important having good skill position players around a young QB is. Starting off with Courtland Sutton, in a statement made at mandatory minicamp this week via Mile High Sports, Sutton expressed a desire to stick with the team. He also set sky-high expectations, including a conversation of becoming a dynasty. I hope that I'm a part of the bigger picture, Sutton said. I've been told that this is what the game plan is. I've also been told some other things. We will see what happens. I hope I am able to be part of the game plan. I also don't see that it will be a soft reset. I'm praying and also working towards and hopefully stay in guys' ears that this is not going to be a 3-year process. We want to win right now. I don't see this being a 3 or 4 year process. If it becomes a 3 or 4 year dynasty, then I hope I will be able to be a part of it. Of course, aside from the dynasty part, this is a common statement made by players negotiating with their teams. They proclaim they want to stick around, but only if things work out. In other words, they need to see the correct payment for the service they offer. Otherwise, teams are often forced to trade the player. The Broncos already did so with Jerry Jeudy, who was sent to the Cleveland Browns for 2 picks. The Browns then paid Jeudy his lucrative second contract. If things don't settle between Sutton and Denver, logic dictates that a trade could be a direct result. Since his selection in 2018, the Broncos have only had the same quarterback for 2 of those 6 seasons. Bo Nix is set to be the team's 6th leading passer since Sutton was drafted. Once the same promise is made time after time, players can get burnt out. Sutton said the correct thing though in demonstrating confidence in his team's selection of Nix. But fans can only wonder if his public position is the same as his private thoughts. While Sutton has turned in some of the highlight catches of the year in multiple seasons, his total production has left room for improvement. This could be where the Broncos are having trouble with rationalizing a lucrative new contract. As for the other receivers in the room, Josh Reynolds will be the wide receiver 2 on the depth chart. Last season with the Lions, he put up 608 yards and 5 touchdowns, so he was somewhat productive, but this season, he will look to break out. Marvin Mims will be the number 3 receiver, and last season, he had around 400 yards with a touchdown, so another guy looking to put up better numbers. And the same could be said for their tight end in Adam Troutman. Now moving on to the backs, we all know how talented Javonte Williams is, and I just feel like better QB play would help him out a lot because defenses would be on their heels and wouldn't be able to game plan just to stop him. Last season, Javonte put up 774 yards and 3 touchdowns. And behind him is P. Ryan, who only had 238 yards and a touchdown. As for the offensive line, the Broncos have a good unit. They recently made a huge investment into it, signing both Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey last offseason. They have 4 solid proven players, and they are a big reason for Javante's recent success. Now for the defense, this side of the ball is really going to have to step up to make things easier on rookie QB Bo Nix. For the first time since the 2021 season, the Broncos defense returns to the same play caller and same defensive system. On the field, Singleton believes that continuity is already paying dividends. It's incredible, Singleton said Tuesday. This is my first time in 5 years. The first 2 years I was in Philly was the only time I had the same defense 2 years in a row. It was night and day. How comfortable I feel every day out here coming in, it's not comparable. When it's a new scheme, you're still learning from square one. Singleton said a year ago, the Broncos were still learning how to mesh the systems of former defensive coordinator and current defensive coordinator Vance Joseph. The defense struggled initially, but the unit was able to turn things around to fuel a midseason 5-game winning streak because of a slew of takeaways. Singleton also said the defense knows it must start faster in 2024, particularly with the uncertainty at the quarterback position. We know that we've got to start hot, Singleton said. Whoever is going to play quarterback is going to be a younger guy in the system. We have been preparing like that, and we have to come into the rest of the summer knowing that and get ready to win football games. Looking at the Broncos schedule, there's a lot of winnable games early on in the season, but as time goes on, it gets a lot harder. I don't really know how to say what the ceiling of this team is because there's a lot of unknowns, but I do think they are about to do what nobody expects. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Bo Nix and how Denver will do this season, and if you think this team could be in playoff contention. That's all I have to say for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.